Hey guys, I'm Chrix.
And I'm Curt.
And welcome to our next movie audio commentary. Today we're doing Back to the Future. Go ahead and turn the player on, and I'll go ahead and just show off
I'm going to turn this
three
player
captures
on.
that we're going to be using.
Because let me tell you something. When this baby starts playing this disc, you're going to see some serious crap.
That's really dumb.
It is. But, yeah. You
anyway,
get it, though, right?
Yeah. The three captures we're going to be using for this will be, this one, which is our movie audio commentary one. It shows the Back to the Future page. We'll also be, at some points, capturing the actual, TV screen.
Don't pirate movies, folks.
Yeah, don't pirate movies. That just happened to pop up right when I switched the capture. And the other capture we'll be using sometimes is we'll be actually going to, if we need to go to Google or whatever, we'll be going to my desktop capture. So that's the other one we'll be using. We'll just be using those three.
You can hear it, right?
I can hear it, yes. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll go ahead and just show the menu for the thing. Let me grab my phone real quick.
It's a great menu, too.
I have my controller on my, remote, the word I'm looking for. Now, I know our last movie audio commentary, we didn't really do much commentating because it was Fantastic Beasts and it was kind of a blind commentary for Curtis. And also, that movie we had mixed opinions about, especially me. I had mixed opinions about it. He had mixed opinions about it.
Yeah.
This movie, we'll try to make our opinions pretty clear.
Hopefully. Do you think we'll ever do any of the original Harry Potter movies? Oh, just to let you guys know, in case you guys haven't watched our commentaries before or any commentaries online, we don't actually show the movie.
We will show short clips from the movie just to show when.
And the reason we don't show the movie is because the movie is copyrighted, but we show clips of the movie so that if you want to watch your own copy of the movie with us, you can watch the clips to figure out exactly where we are.
Mm-hmm. So I'll go ahead and show the clip when I select the play button, so that you guys can sync up the start with us perfectly. Hopefully you guys like this one better than you liked Fantastic Beasts. I know that one is kind of disliked by most of the people who see it. So
this is probably one of those movies I've seen the most times, so I know enough about it that I don't need to hear that. Are we going to turn on subtitles?
Do you want subtitles on?
Yeah.
Okay. If I can figure out how to run a remote. Where am I? Languages. Definitely languages. Okay.
They need to make an extended edition of this movie.
Oh man, I love that shot. Yeah, if you guys are gonna watch it with us, if you want to turn on subtitles, now would be the best time to do so. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. We've only been recording for 3 minutes. That's weird. Okay, so we're gonna select play. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And we're starting. Just so you guys can sync it up perfectly. This DVD does have that menu in it. So I'll go ahead and show just the
rated PG. Only if it were made today, it would be rated PG-13.
It would be rated PG-13 if it were made today because of a lot of the content. I'll be showing this part so you can sync it up perfectly. The screen seems really dark. See? Is that too dark?
I think it will be
that's
okay.
Perfect. Yeah, I know. Okay, so
not yet. But we'll just keep it here for a minute until the title appears. Until the title appears.
How long does it take for the title to appear? I don't remember. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up on my end because I can't quite hear it well enough. We do have 2 separate audio controls here. I'm playing the audio through my laptop right now, where it's recording, and he's playing the audio through the TV.
Clock's ticking.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, we did mention we have subtitles on, so that's good.
Okay.
Back to the Future. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and switch from the capture now.
Yep.
Now, I don't believe this TV has as evident of layer switching, or this DVD player, I should say, has as evident of layer switching.
Probably not.
I don't think so. So anyway, this movie has Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox playing the lead roles, as you can see from the credits.
And actually, this opening to the movie was actually introduced into the filming of the movie really, really late into the filming.
Like how late?
The script that the novelization is based off of, and the novelization only came out a few months before the movie. The script of the novelization starts off with doesn't even have this scene at the beginning. Instead, it begins with Marty listening to music in class. He gets called to the office, and he figures out he has a phone call. It's a phone call from Doc calling the school for Marty. Tells Marty that he has like a that he's going to his to meet him at the Twin Pines Mall that night, of course.
Should we give a spoiler warning, because we might be talking about things that will be happening in
I'm assuming everybody's seen this movie, because that's one of our rules, that they have to have seen the movie.
Well, not a rule like you have to, but it's highly suggested. Again, it's highly suggested that you have seen the movie before watching a commentary.
But Mr. Strickland overhears the phone call and punishes Marty with detention, because even though the phone call wasn't Marty's fault, you know?
Yeah.
And so Marty has to find a way to escape detention, which I've told you. I've told you about how he escapes, right? Where he like aims with a magnifying glass, like with the sun, to like burn like a little piece of paper next to the fire alarm and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
To set off the alarm system.
Music by Alan Silvestri.
So that he can get to his band audition in time.
I'll go ahead and I'll just I'm gonna Google the team who worked on this movie, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be Googling Back to the Future.
So this scene must have been a very, very late decision, and I'm very glad that they eventually decided to open the movie this way, because I don't think there is any better way you could have opened it.
I'm going to go to Wikipedia, because that's the easiest place to find information. As my teacher has told me in the past, it's a good start for whatever you're doing.
It's not as inaccurate as people say it is.
It's not in a lot of places. They keep track in the talk pages.
I like how the movie poster is great. We actually were trying to film this before and had to stop and start over. But the movie poster, I really love this movie poster. Do you?
Yeah.
Like it says, he is never in time for his classes. He wasn't in time for his dinner. Then one day he wasn't in his time at all.
You can't really read it very well from here because it's not.
But that's what it says. If you can find a higher quality version of the poster.
Yeah, probably not. Oh, Marty with the guitar thing. That's a huge meme, actually. You can see the cast here. It has a fairly small cast, actually. Then again, a lot of older movies have fairly small casts.
Well, it has a small main cast.
It has a very small main cast, yes.
1985, like, it's rated PG, but the PG-13 rating either didn't exist at the time this movie was made, or it was brand new, so they still didn't know what would qualify as a PG-13. But this movie would definitely be PG-13 if it were made today.
Did you know this about the old script, about how the elements from that were used in later films? Specifically Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
The time machine was a laser device in the original script. And they attached it to a refrigerator at the end because they went through an atomic blast. And they changed that because they didn't want people to climb into the refrigerators.
Yeah. I mean, do they want people to go 88 miles per hour in vehicles?
Well, it was mostly for kids, the whole kids thing. But like this movie's really appropriate for kids anyway.
So how exactly does the whole time travel thing work? Because the thing that I just realized that kind of caught me off guard is you travel to that exact second, but technically when you travel there, you're still going 88 miles per hour. So wouldn't you just be stuck in an infinite loop of traveling back in time?
I don't know how it works.
Unless it has to do with the plutonium.
See, originally he got this phone call at school.
Yeah.
I think that... Yeah.
There's a slight possibility of overload.
The thing about the clocks all going off at the same time was, remember how Doc calls him in the middle of the night and says to pick up his video camera from his house?
Yeah.
When Marty goes to his house to pick it up, that's when he hears all the clocks. And they aren't 25 minutes slow, it's just that all the clocks go off at the same time.
Right.
The novelization is not very good. It's not just because it's based off of an inferior version of the script. I'm fine with that because it's interesting to see what got scrapped and stuff. But the guy who wrote the novelization was a terrible author.
Right.
Like, he fills in a bunch of... Weren't we listening to, like, a fake audiobook of the novelization at one point, and it's just boring. Because there's just so many details that are added in between, like, every single character's sentence. Marty couldn't stand his father. His father was such a loser. Did I mention that he was a You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. By the way, if you guys are still listening, you're now hearing Power of Love. Was that song written for Back to the Future?
No, it existed before that.
Okay. Were there any songs that were written for these
If
movies?
you notice, the music goes na 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 na.
Yeah, I know.
They actually have a sped up version of that being the Nintendo game, which is not a very good game. Don't play it. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's basically a sped up version of that. Doo 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 doo.
Yeah. By the way, your sound is a few frames ahead of mine then.
Yeah.
That's what happens, but you know. I'm assuming you don't want me to start capturing again yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
This guy though, Mr. Strickland.
Strickland, nobody likes Strickland. I believe that makes 4 in a row. Strickland is bald. Do I need to say anything
He never had hair.
He never had hair according to the game. Which, by the way, there's a game called Back to the Future, the game. I know, creative title.
For the PC, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, and PS4.
It's actually a pretty good game.
And they
it's
actually
made
got
as a sequel to
they actually
Back to
got
the
Christopher
Future.
Lloyd to reprise his role as Doc Brown in it.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a guy who sounded exactly like Michael J. Fox to voice Marty.
Really good impersonator.
Like, I actually thought it was Michael J. Fox at first.
I love this line. History's gonna change.
Why isn't there a Lego Back to the Future yet?
I mean, I don't think it would work as like a Lego game very well. Back to the Future wouldn't really work as a video game.
I don't know.
The
maybe.
plot of this Back to the Future movie, anyway.
First movie's the best by far.
Or the Pinheads.
There's no contest. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
And
then they're too loud.
I think they sounded good.
Ugh. Yeah, but they were way too loud, let's be honest. I mean, this movie is quiet, but right now I'm feeling like I have to turn down the sound.
Turn down for what?
Oh my goodness, no.
That song's just become a meme now.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
Poor Marty.
Yeah, I know. Re-elect Mayor Goldie Wilson. You know, there's a lot of, like...
A lot of these details in this movie, like, you'll see, like, the clock tower flyer and the story that his mother tells at the table about how she met her husband and stuff. All these details seem irrelevant the first time you're watching the movie until those details actually come in handy later. So it's like the filmmakers knew exactly what they were doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good thing. The filmmakers should know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. It's almost like a woman walked by that was just wearing underwear and stuff. And
I don't know.
And he, like, turned around, like, wait, what's that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good thing Jennifer didn't notice.
Okay, the truck changed a lot. In the novelization, it's a Toyota, so they had that set down by the time the novelization was written. But, and the fourth draft script, which is the newest script that's actually been made available, like the, you know, like the closest to the filming script.
Yeah.
It's a Supra truck. And then in the third draft script, which hasn't been made available, but people actually have read it, it's a Camaro truck.
Okay. How long is this, by the way?
I think it's exactly 2 hours long.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not terribly long. So yeah, guys, get ready to sit here for 2 hours.
1 hour and 56 minutes.
Save the clock tower. Oh yeah, the lady with the clock tower.
Okay, yeah. And also in the fourth draft script, you know, like the newest script we have, Jennifer's name is Susie instead of Jennifer.
Okay. I don't care too much about the other versions of the script.
There's some interesting details in there, though.
Yeah, some of them work. Some of them don't. So anyway, should I show another clip?
Yeah,
Has
sure.
it been long enough?
And perfect timing here, because actually there's a nice little detail here. The phone number that they use here is actually a real phone number.
Don't call it, please.
If you watch the movie on TV, they actually have the phone number changed.
Yeah. I know quite a few movies and games and stuff nowadays use phone numbers that if you call them, they'll lead you to, like, some weird answering machine having to do with the game or movie.
The thing is, back when this movie was made, all 555 numbers were, not real phone numbers because they were reserved for movies. But a few years after this movie was made, the rules changed that only a certain amount of 555 phone numbers are fictional.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the TV version, they have it changed to 555-0123 instead of 555-4823.
Yeah. You gotta wonder who thought to themselves, I'm just gonna call that number from Back to the Future to talk to Jennifer.
That's probably why they changed it, so people wouldn't try. But are people really gonna be that stupid, you know?
I mean, you never know. People do that kind of stuff.
What's actually funny about it, you've seen Bruce Almighty, right?
Yeah.
Bruce Almighty, originally they used a real phone number in that film for God's phone number. But people were actually calling that. And so when they released the DVD and VHS, they changed it. And guess what they changed it to?
What?
555-0123.
So Jennifer has the same phone number as God.
TV version, Jennifer, that is.
Yeah.
Okay, this dude, Biff.
I spilled beer
Actually,
when I crashed into the car, and that's your fault.
Do you see the, well, he outright said he was drunk driving, you know? Did you see the jar of candy next to Marty?
Yeah. I've seen that before, where some of the candy just disappears.
So was Marty eating them during this conversation?
Who knows? It's a different shot. Things like that happen all the time.
I know, but a lot of people who have seen this movie and notice all the errors, this is probably one of the most popular errors in the movie. People like to joke that Marty was eating the candy during that scene.
Yeah, I know. Your shoe's untied. Don't be so gullible, McFly. I hate Biff. Biff is a jerk.
I had your car towed all the way to your house, and all you got me was light beer?
Yeah. What are you looking at, butthead? He looks weird, older.
Apparently it's the guy who played Biff who actually came up with the idea for saying butthead, because that doesn't actually appear in any of the earlier scripts.
Oh, really?
In fact, in the very first version of the script, he says a-hole instead.
I like butthead better.
Yeah.
Because then it's also not a bad word. Or a curse word.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, curse-free zone.
Unless we're quoting the movie.
Well,
maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of used to the edited dubbed version, but there's multiple edited dubbed versions. Like, every time there's, like, a terrorist attack or something, they always edit the Doc's death scene.
Yeah.
To ridiculous proportions. Okay, that peanut brittle right there that he poured, that's actually from a deleted scene where Marty actually tries to tell his father to say no for once, and then right after that conversation, a neighbor comes over and tries to sell peanut brittle that his daughter's trying to sell for her
and
teen.
he can't say no.
Yeah. And so that's why Marty was just like, no, I don't want any peanut brittle when his dad tried to hand him some.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the deleted scenes in this should have made it in.
Yeah. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold, but I'm fine.
Oh yeah, whatever. We've all got a bit of a cold at this time of year. Welcome to winter, by the way, guys, and welcome to Back to the Future. Welcome back to our channel. We're doing commentaries again. And by commentaries, I mean we're probably doing one.
Since we're at college a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably once summer comes along, we'll start doing a lot more commentaries, especially since we'll probably be able to go to the library a lot more again.
Who knows, maybe. Oh, his laugh. I really like George's laugh.
Yeah. We're going to be doing the other Back to the Future movies eventually. Not this week, probably, but...
Any girl who calls up a boy is just asking for trouble.
Actually, today we just got done watching the extended edition of the first Narnia film, which I thought was way better than the theatrical version.
I don't know whether she's lying when she says she never sat in a parked car
or
with a
if
boy.
Marty actually changed that, yeah.
Because technically she is a different woman when the
I don't know what the filmmaker's intentions were.
Because right now she's like, don't be with Jennifer. But then later on she's like, yeah, do be with Jennifer. So maybe Marty actually did change it.
Yeah. She's a drunk in this original timeline, original unaltered timeline. At least we assume it's an unaltered timeline, because for all we know, there might be some other time traveler. But probably not.
Probably not. Well, you know, unaltered for Marty.
Did you ever see how the Terminator series should end? I showed you that, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like a Back to the Future Terminator crossover trailer thing, and a lot of people think it should be a real movie.
I think a lot of people jokingly think it should be a real movie. I read
a fanfic based on it that actually made a lot of sense.
I don't think anyone actually thinks it should be a real movie. The
Fish Under the Sea dance.
Yeah, I know.
So the enchantment under the sea.
Oh, the night of the terrible thunderstorm. They're setting so much up for later in the movie. It works so well.
It is kind of coincidental that they just happened to mention it on the night before he goes back in time.
Well, isn't it the night that he goes back in time?
Yeah, it is.
Well, kind of, because he goes back in time at like 3 a.m. or something. So, kind of. His laugh. That's so great.
They're watching The Honeymooners, and then later when Marty travels back and stays at his mom's house, they're actually watching The Honeymooners there also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was actually used to there being commercials, because of course I've seen this on TV more times, and there's usually a commercial right before this scene comes on.
Yeah.
Which is actually one of the few times I've seen a commercial be in a decent place, you know?
Marty, you didn't fall asleep, did you? No, Marty said as he woke up. By the way, apparently they're making a Back to the Future musical, and my first thought when I hear that is...
How is that going to work? Unless they change what the time machine is, but no.
Well, I mean, Groundhog Day, they did a bunch of creative things with, like, cars on stage and stuff, so...
There are things that you would think would be... Like, they did this movie so cleverly, there are things that if you weren't paying close enough attention, you'd think they were actually continuity errors. Like, when he gets back... It's Lone Pine Mall instead of Twin Pines Mall. And anybody who hasn't been paying close enough attention would think that it's actually a continuity error, but it's actually something that he changed because he knocked down one of the pine trees.
Yeah. Things like that. They did.
You notice his wheels turned pink on his skateboard.
They did pay really close attention to detail in a lot of the stuff in this movie.
But there's
some stuff that's really disappointingly
There's a lot
obvious.
of rewatch value in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have pointed out that the dog is still alive in 1955, but it's a different dog.
It's a different dog, clearly. He calls it a different name and everything. Doesn't he call it Copernicus, and this one is Einstein?
That only happens in the third film, but, and the script is actually stated that it's a different dog.
Yeah. It's a different dog that just happens to look mostly the same as this dog.
It's a different dog, though. They use two separate dogs.
Yeah. And there's where you first get to see Doc. He's crazy.
Christopher Lloyd, who's always funny.
Crazy Christopher Lloyd. Crazy old Christopher Lloyd.
Remember the Jack and the Beanstalk with Christopher Lloyd?
Yes. Christopher Lloyd's been in a bunch of good movies. Jack and the Beanstalk, My Favorite Martian. What else has he been in?
I don't remember. Back to the Future, the game.
That doesn't count. Oh, he was in Super Babies, Baby Geniuses.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah, I know. Nevertheless, he was in it.
I wish we had Look Who's Talking.
Oh my goodness.
Because that was actually funny.
I don't know. Debatably. But this is about Back to the Future. Should I?
Sure.
Alright, that's where we are, guys, so you can see where we are. We just saw the DeLorean, we just saw Christopher Lloyd, we're just leaving Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to disintegrate Einstein in a second, and by disintegrate I mean send to the future.
Well, as we know, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, we're going to see some serious crap.
Yeah, I know, we're going to see some serious stuff.
If you watch the TV version, and it's edited very badly.
Yeah. Well, aren't TV versions usually edited very badly? I love how he has it driving straight toward him, doesn't he?
I mean, the Son of a Butthead dub makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Biff is kind of an idiot, so that one was funny.
Just would have worked better if they had dubbed it with a voice tone that actually fit there. 88 miles per hour. You're gonna see some serious stuff.
Yeah.
Actually,
also, I like how he says if my calculations are correct. Like, what would happen if his calculations hadn't been correct? They'd both be dead.
Yeah.
That's how crazy Doc is. Like, he's willing to kill himself and Marty.
Yeah.
That's just great.
You know, I don't know why they didn't dub over it with serious crap in the TV version.
Who knows?
It would have made a lot more sense, because it would have kept the joke, where he just says something that you completely don't expect him to say.
Who knows? The car would have hit them by now.
Serious stuff sounds...
Yeah, the car would have hit them by now. And
it's actually more than 1 minute.
Now, why did the license plate not travel with them?
It fell off. I just love his facial expressions and everything.
88
Do you think they got inspiration from, like, the look of Albert Einstein and everything?
Who knows?
Also, in earlier scripts, the license plate says no time on it instead of out of time.
He's supposed to be like a crazy scientist. You disintegrated Einstein!
See, I'm not used to him saying that. I'm used to him saying, "Geez Louise."
Yeah, It's whatever.
Yeah. The
this movie,
question is, when the heck are they?
We can't just sit here quoting the whole movie, though.
It's funny, though.
Yeah, I know, but we can't just...
The novelization, and I find this really weird, because the scripts for the movie actually have the line the way it is in the actual movie. But then the novelization has, then where are they? No, the question's not, where are they? But where in the H are they? And I'm like, no, you just messed up the line, Doc. Or whoever wrote the novelization, whoever thought that was funnier.
Yeah. It's
Doc's completely missing the point here.
Also, that was way more than 1 minute. Isn't it like 1 minute and 21 seconds or something?
Yeah, something like that.
We timed it once. This movie has some things like that, where time doesn't quite work the same.
Yeah. It's movie.
And the car's really, really cold. Like, frozen.
He actually says it's cold. Darn cold.
It's cold. Ice cold.
That's what we said whenever we, like, play acted it. It's cold, ice cold.
Oh,
and you can actually mishear the line as, it's cold, air cold. Because it actually does sound kind of like he says it. But air cold makes no sense whatsoever.
That doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Why would it be cold, though? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Time traveling makes it cold. I don't know.
Is it cold when Marty gets back to the right time?
I think so. Yeah. Why aren't we saying anything? We need to think of something to say.
I don't know. The time travel in this movie works, actually.
Of course, in this one, there's no loop time traveling.
What do you mean loop time traveling?
Like, no causal loop. You know, like predestination paradox.
There is in Back to the Future. There's predestination paradox explanations.
Somewhat, but you could infer that those things might have happened anyway.
Right.
Of course, in the original Terminator movie, which we should do a commentary on one of these days, the first Terminator movie, which was originally going to be the only one, of course, that establishes that time travel always works in causal loops.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sequels come along and they just retcon the whole thing, and it doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah, and which one's the Terminator? Yeah, Terminator time travel is weird. Back to the Future time travel is...
Well, the first Terminator film by itself makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Back to the Future time travel is probably the second best time travel method I've seen in media. And the reason I say second best is because I really liked the time travel method explained in Tempest until it got to book 3, and then it just got confusing.
Flux capacitor. Now, flux capacitor is in the novelization, but in the fourth draft script, it's called the TFC, temporal field capacitor. So they refer to it as the TFC throughout the entire script, and it's really annoying.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I ought to mention, since I just mentioned Tempest. Tempest is a book series that I read a few years ago that revolves around time travel. I can't remember who the author is.
I just love his facial expressions.
The first book is called Tempest, not The Tempest or anything like that, just Tempest. And that's a book series that I recommend if you like time travel things.
Oh, I know what else Christopher Lloyd was in.
What?
Dennis the Menace.
Christopher Lloyd wasn't Dennis the Menace. Christopher Lloyd did very well in Dennis the Menace.
He played Switchblade Sam.
What is Christopher Lloyd's best movie?
This one.
This one. I really like Dennis the Menace, though.
This is Christopher Lloyd's best movie and Michael J. Fox's best movie.
Actually, I wonder how Dennis the Menace did at box office. Or whatever. For some reason, I'm going to switch to looking up Dennis the Menace now. Find something to say.
We're...
Watching Back to the Future. No.
I'm used to the commercial being there, too. Right before he says, like, come on, we'll get you into a radiation suit. And then it cuts to him. And then it cuts to commercial. When it comes back, he's getting the plutonium ready. Success, but a negative reviews. Well, it kind of has a cult following. To be honest. Let's go up. Yeah, because Christopher Lloyd played Switchblade Sam and
Oh, people
Dennis
thought it followed the Home Alone plot too closely. Why are we talking about Dennis the Menace? Christopher Lloyd, that's why.
Because he played Switchblade Sam.
And what else has Michael J. Fox been on? He was on Full House.
He did Stuart Little's voice.
I know, but what else? Like, what was the show that he was in?
Family Ties.
Family Ties, okay.
And it's interesting, around the time Back to the Future came out, Michael J. Fox played in an episode of Family Ties where he dreamed that he was in 1776.
Where he time traveled. Yeah. I liked that.
I wonder if he did that because...
1776. New York City. No. No,
he was in Doc Hollywood also. Doc Hollywood.
I don't know what that is. I also saw him in the Teen Wolf movie.
It's similar to Cars, only with humans instead of cars.
He was also in the Teen Wolf movie.
Oh, that was funny.
That was a good movie. Talking about the actors.
Okay, now this is important. He says right here, he forgot to pack extra plutonium.
Yeah.
1 pellet, 1 trip. Just these important details. Okay, here comes the good part. Here comes the Libyans.
He didn't pack extra plutonium. That's a problem.
They found me. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty! And that's when Marty stops recording.
Yeah, he didn't record himself getting shot, did he?
Yep.
And this is the part that gets censored a lot of the times when...
It shows him suddenly laying on the ground after... nothing.
Yeah.
And they cut out all shots of the terrorist's face. So the scene lasts ridiculously a short time. In fact, a lot of people who grew up watching that censored version, taped off TV, could hardly even understand what was going on in the scene.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense when it's censored like that.
It isn't even made that clear that Doc actually died in the censored version.
See, that's why it's called censor, because it's like sense or... No, I'm kidding. That was a really bad joke. But do you see what I did there?
Yeah.
It's like taking out all sense from the scenes.
And the censored version, Marty actually jumps in the car before Doc dies.
You know, I hate it how, like, every major event that happens with terrorists, they just cut out the terrorists from the movie.
And in this scene, it really doesn't work in the movie. They don't do it every time the movie's shown on TV, of course.
They do it every time there's, like, a recent terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Which is basically all the time, because welcome to America. It's a wonderful place.
Yeah. Like, I remember we were watching this on TV around the time there was a terrorist attack, and you were like, hey, $10 if you think they're gonna censor
$10 says they're gonna censor this, and then like, yep, what a surprise, they censored
You weren't watching it at that point. You were in the kitchen, like, getting popcorn or something, and the part came on with the terrorists, and I turned to you and said, yep, he's dead already, and you're like, yep, they censored it then, and I'm like, yep.
Of course they censored it. It's TV.
And it's sad because this is actually one of the most epic scenes.
I just saw a JCPenney. He drove by a JCPenney.
Yep.
There's a JCPenney in Twin Pines Mall or Lone Pine Mall.
Oh, sniper rifle.
Uh-oh.
Let's see if you Libyans can do 90.
Yeah.
There's actually one TV edit. They don't do it on every TV edit because some TV channels are more lax, but on some channels they change it to, let's see if you Libyans can do 90.
I mean...
And there's another channel where they just change it to, let's see if you can do 90.
I mean, I don't see why it would be a problem to have Marty call them that word if they're keeping in the rest of that word as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like saying you can call anybody a bad word except for these people. If you call these people a bad word, then it's then it's racism. But if you call anyone else that same bad word, it's not racism. That makes no sense to me. That's never made any sense to me. And there's the,
Yeah, he's traveled to the past.
It looks like an airplane without wings.
Yeah. But so what commentary do you want to do next? Like, what movie would you like to do
Don't
next
they know what DeLoreans are?
No, because DeLoreans didn't exist back then.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh, wait, duh. I knew that. Also, I love how the kid just happens to be holding the comic with the thing that looks exactly like Marty right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because of Marty's suit.
Which isn't a real comic.
Hey, sorry about your bomb.
One of the people working on this movie at the time, because you notice how the comic was called Spaceman from Pluto?
Yeah.
He suggested that the movie actually be called Spaceman from Pluto. And instead of Marty dressing up as Darth Vader later on, he dresses up as a spaceman from Pluto. He just wanted to fill the film with Spaceman from Pluto jokes and call the film Spaceman from Pluto. But Steven Spielberg was like, no, that's just stupid. And I say, good job to that.
I'll get you, you mutating punk. Yeah. And then he just drives the car
there's one version he says, mutated son of a gun. And there's another version...
You killed a pine!
And there's another version where he says, mutated son of a... And then he gets cut off.
This is where he kills the pine tree, right?
Yeah.
Yep, he killed the pine.
Why are we just talking about censored versions?
I don't know.
I think there was a version where he said, you space freak, or whatever.
I don't know.
You space freak! You killed a pine!
He actually says, you killed my pine, according to the captions.
How accurate are the captions?
Who knows?
I've seen really inaccurate captions before. Yeah, go ahead, show it.
I'm getting good moments of these, by the way.
You notice he actually hides the car behind the billboard? But in the novelization, which of course the novelization only came out a few months before the film did, he actually hides it in the garage of his future home because his home has been built, it's just that nobody lives in it yet. So he hides the DeLorean in the garage of his future home, which does happen in the fourth draft script, but apparently the guy who wrote the novelization decided to fill in a bunch of details. Marty pulls the DeLorean into the garage. He sat for an hour and a half listening to music on the radio, and I'm like, why would he do that? Like the radio, like the radio on the DeLorean would even work since it's not a 50s radio.
Well, more importantly, why would you put that in the novelization? Yeah,
it's filled with unnecessary details.
The guy who wrote the novelization doesn't sound like a guy who should be writing novelizations.
He actually died from getting stung by bees about shortly after the novelization was published.
Oh, that's depressing, actually. Thank you for filling me in on that interesting fact.
And then the guy who wrote the novelizations for Part 2 and 3, he didn't actually write the bad language into them.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I guess. Lion States.
But considering it's kind of inconsistent with the first novelization.
Hill Valley, 2 miles. Let's walk 2 miles to get to Hill Valley, shall we?
One day, Christian, we should probably try, because obviously we don't have the novelization, but we should try listening to the audiobook of the novelization. Obviously it's a fan-made audiobook, because there's a YouTube channel where they make fan-made audiobooks and novelizations, which is crazy. But they actually do that.
Yeah.
I just said doo-doo, by the way, but...
No, whatever. Ha ha ha, doo-doo. No.
Doo-doo. But yeah.
I like
listening to the novelization, see how long it takes for us to get bored.
I like this song, the Sandman song.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he said, let's just sit here for a while and see how long it takes for us to get bored. See how long it takes us to not have anything else to say about this movie.
No, I mean listening to the novelization, because audiobook for that's like 10 hours long or whatever.
I could just sit here and be like, what am I trying to think of? You know what the word I'm looking for is.
Mm-hmm.
The English descriptive video service. I could be an English descriptive video service.
Marty
looks around. Marty hears the bell chime above him. Marty looks up and sees the now working clock tower.
Yeah, let's not do that. That'll get annoying.
Oh my goodness.
I've watched English descriptive video services, so they actually come in handy when I'm busy, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, when you're not able to see the movie, but you just want to listen to it. Or if you're blind. Which, if you're blind, I'm glad that you can appreciate a service like English descriptive
This movie
video
doesn't
service.
have one of those on it, though, to the best of my knowledge.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
That's too bad. Oh, and who's the guy who's applying for mayor?
Red Thomas. And he's actually the bum who's on the bench.
Yeah, uh-huh. November 5th,
when he gets back to the future, the bum on the bench is actually Red Thomas.
Mm-hmm, I know. How do we know Red Thomas wasn't already a bum on a bench? Other than that, we don't see him.
Well, it said re-elect Mayor Red Thomas.
I know. But we
Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier.
But see, Curtis, we already know that Goldie Wilson becomes mayor at this time because he's mayor later, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So we already know that he becomes mayor instead of Red Thomas in the next election.
No, he becomes mayor in the 80s.
Oh, whatever.
Remember?
How long does each person run as mayor?
I don't know.
In this place?
I don't know.
30 years? No. Probably like 4 years or 5 years or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he does become mayor in the 80s, but yeah, okay.
Just tears the page out of the phone book.
Why didn't he just bring the whole phone book?
That's stealing.
You gonna order something?
Yeah, get me a tab. I can't get you a tab unless you order something.
Because tab back then meant receipt. Pepsi free.
I was reading, like, somebody actually modernized Back to the Future, so he starts in 2015 and travels back to 1985. And he goes and says, I'd like a Pepsi Max. My name's not Max. Oh, yeah, okay. Get me Sierra Mist. If you want Mist from the Sierra Kid, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
It's still kind of funny, you know?
It works. It's whatever. I mean, did Sierra Mist exist at that time?
No. The Sierra Mountains existed, but...
Oh, and there's his dad. He sees his dad for the first time. And by for the first time, I mean in the past.
I actually thought it would be funny if they did one with, like, I'd like a Coke Zero. Okay, so you don't want a Coke. No, I want a Coke Zero. I got that. You want 0 Cokes. Okay, get me a Pepsi 1 then. Okay, 1 Pepsi. No. Pepsi 1. Don't worry, I'm only gonna get you 1.
Well, Coke Zero, I mean, 0 Coke?
Yeah.
It's weird. That's kind of weird. Hey, McFly, your shoe's untied.
Does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They actually cast the actors to look... They actually cast, like, ones with their younger selves in mind and then put makeup on them to make them look older in the present.
Yeah, I know.
My mom actually, like your mom also, of course, but apparently she didn't know that they were actually both the same actor.
I love Marty's face.
She thought that they were 2 separate actors. She's like, you know, the guy who plays the young father. I'm like, you realize they're both played by the same guy, right?
You're George McFly.
Yeah, who are you?
Marty McFly. No.
He's like, what? You're George McFly.
And then, like, yeah, you're going to be mayor. And in this timeline, he gives him the idea to be mayor.
Yeah.
This is probably the first thing he did to actually majorly change events.
But did he change it, or would that have happened anyway? Like, in this altered timeline, does the Johnny B. Good song even get written?
Well, he probably runs for mayor earlier this time, and
maybe
becomes mayor earlier. You know?
Yeah. This was actually the year of the bus boycott, also. 1955.
What'd you say?
The bus boycott, you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hence why that guy would be making fun of him for being colored.
Yeah.
Colored mayor, that'll be the day.
Yeah. That's racist, of course, but...
Well, yeah. Daddy-o.
Daddy. I like that part later.
When he says the lid. And then George is a peeping Tom. Peeping at,
Naked
Lorraine.
Woman. Of course, you don't realize it's her yet, because you can't see her face. But...
Right.
Yeah. He's a peeping Tom.
He should have just let George get hit by the car. He knew the story. He knew how
He didn't realize that he was changing the past. He thought, like, you know, he didn't realize the repercussions it would have.
Yeah. He probably thought this was just a dream. Or something still, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Another one of these kids jumped in front of my car.
Yeah.
But, okay, that implies something. That implies that whoever got hit by the car on this exact day Lorraine would have fallen in love with. Because clearly they've had this happen to other kids. That doesn't make sense.
Maybe Lorraine just had him in her room that day. Like,
why would it have just happened with that one, with whoever
maybe this
happened
is,
with
this is
day.
the only time Lorraine had the guy be in her room, because maybe there was something with the other rooms that day where they couldn't fit him into the room.
Who knows? Another one of these kids jumped in front of my car. Because that implies that other kids have, in fact, jumped in front of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Or fallen in front of the car.
Maybe none of the rest of them passed out or anything.
Who knows?
1955?
You're so thin. And she keeps telling him Calvin. Because of his
Like, I don't know
climbs.
if I've stated it yet in this commentary, but the original script for the movie is pretty much B-movie material.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the middle of the script is good, where he's trying to get his parents back together and everything, but everything else feels like a B-movie. Like, Marty's a video pirate, and the time machine's a laser, and... Yeah. So it just goes to show that you can make a great movie out of a lousy script.
Yeah. People call me Marty. Pleased to meet you, Calvin.
Marty Klein.
Oh, I forgot about that last one. I didn't even know she did that. Calvin Marty Klein, or Calvin Marty Klein? That's weird to say. It's probably really awkward to be with his mom like this. Put your pants back on.
Put your pants back on. Oh, she smiled at him. You could see it in the mirror.
Yeah. Ow.
She's actually kind of creepy as a teenager.
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to go ahead and...
I'll just show one. Alright.
Yeah. Actually, the little girl who's at the table is the little girl from Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know, the one who's obsessed with Thor.
Or any of the other actors from... Better get used to these bars, kids.
None of the actors from this movie, but in the second movie, Jennifer is played by,
Who?
Because you know how they recast Jennifer for the sequels.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer in the sequels is played by the girl who played the main character in Adventures in Babysitting.
Okay.
You didn't realize
I don't really care for Adventures in Babysitting, but...
Oh, it's hilarious. If we ever get that one, we should do commentary.
What do you mean you've seen this one? It's brand new. Right. Because he just came from the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we have 2 of them.
And the modern day version I read, he said, well, yeah, you know we have a flat screen. Oh, wow, you must be rich. Oh, he's just teasing you, honey. Nobody has a flat screen TV.
Mm-hmm.
And they were watching Family Ties in the updated version. And he says, this is a classic. This is the one where Alex dreams that he's in 1776.
Oh my goodness, that's actually great.
A nice homage,
What's
you know?
a rerun? Wouldn't they know what reruns are?
Apparently they didn't do reruns back then.
And also, apparently, when he's talking to the dad about politics or whatever,
I think maybe you do. Do
By
I
the
know
way-
your mother? Yeah, I think maybe you do.
By the way, when he's talking to the dad about politics, when he mentions whoever the guy is...
John F. Kennedy.
The dad would definitely know about John F. Kennedy if he knew anything about politics at that time, because John F. Kennedy did other things before.
Do you know where Riverside Drive is? Yeah, it's on the other end of town, a block past Maple. Oh yeah, I think I know where that is from a Google map. What the heck's a Google map?
Oh my goodness. See, he would know who John F. Kennedy is.
That's what it said in the updated version, though, the one with the Google map. But you see how a remake actually could work?
He can sleep in my room. I gotta go.
See y'all later. Much later.
As in like 30 years. Oh my goodness.
Lorraine, you ever have a kid that acts that way and I'll disown you.
That's so ironic.
So did her parents disown her then? Or her father, at least?
Probably not. It's a joke. It was definitely a joke. Oh, going to Doc's house. I love this part.
This scene is hilarious.
Don't say a word. I just gotta show this.
Now, there's actually a theory that his, mind-reading thing actually did work.
What do you mean?
That he was actually getting... Because he actually has to translate, like, parts of the memory that he's actually getting.
Yeah.
So it probably actually was working, and he just didn't realize it.
I mean, we know...
Because watch, I'm gonna show you. Okay, watch. He comes here from a great distance.
Yes, that's accurate, kind of.
He was reading the Saturday Evening Post to see what date it was.
Mm-hmm.
So he picked up Saturday Evening Post from that.
Right.
Donation. He donated to save the clock tower. And the Coast Guard was mentioned to him earlier because of his vest.
Right.
So his mind reader worked the entire time.
Kind of. It just was a bit loose on things. Do you know what this means? It means that this darn thing doesn't work at all.
Do you know what this means? It means that this darn thing doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Didn't we laugh at that part the first time we saw the movie? Because we didn't know what he was going to say
at first. It's a comedy.
We didn't know what he was going to say at first. We thought he was actually going to believe him, and then instead he just says, it means that this darn thing doesn't work at all.
Yeah. This movie has a lot of those kinds of things. Oh yeah, the picture. And this is where it's first mentioned that things are fading out of the picture.
And Marty doesn't know why it's doing that. And the fourth draft script, he says, like, oh wow, this is actually some good trick film you're selling. It actually looks like your brother has no head. And then Marty looks at it and he's like, well, it wasn't like this before. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Well, so that Jane Wyman is the First Lady. And Jack Benny is the Secretary of the Treasury.
I like how he thinks Marty is crazy after just using a mind-reading machine. Oh, and then he uses the bruise on Doc's head. How convenient that Doc just told him about that.
Mm-hmm. I like how Doc is just like...
How did you know that?
He's like, how did you know that?
Yeah.
In the novelization, Doc actually opens the door and he says, then where is this time machine, Future Boy? Because he still doesn't believe him. He just thinks that Marty's been snooping on him. And so finally Marty drags the time machine all the way to Doc's house.
Oh my goodness,
funny?
That's so stupid. The guy really didn't know how to write a,
And the thing is, that scene didn't appear in the script either, where he drags it all the way to Doc's house. Apparently the guy writing the novelization just thought, you know, it'd be funny if he had to do this.
Yeah. The flux capacitor. It's what makes time travel possible.
I just love Doc's facial expressions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Top 5 Reasons Doc Brown is a Genius from AMC?
Christopher Lloyd has some of the best facial expressions in all of his acting. Yeah. I mean, have you seen My Favorite Martian?
Yeah.
Such a great movie. Great actor.
Yeah.
Everything. We've got to get you back to the future. Oh, showing the tape. Are there inconsistencies in this part? I seem to remember some sort of inconsistency here.
He shows Twin Pines Mall in the video, despite the fact that it'd be Lone Pines Mall now.
Well, you know, the fade effect.
Yeah, it's possible that the ripple effect didn't arrive at that date yet.
Yeah.
Which it probably didn't, because it hasn't faded out Marty yet.
Although the ripple effect is kind of inconsistent.
It is. Maybe it chooses what the most likely future would be or something, and that depends on how fast or slow it goes. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Gigawatts. Believe it or not, a gigawatt, contrary to popular belief, a gigawatt is actually a real thing, because it's actually an alternative pronunciation of gigawatt. And you'll know that if you turn on the subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard some people quote this movie as saying 1.21 gigawatts, but any true Back to the Future fan knows that it's gigawatts.
It's gigawatt.
1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing capable of generating that kind of power is a bolt of lightning. Well, how convenient that you got the fly earlier.
In the fourth draft script, he actually lists like a bunch of things that he could do that are near impossible. Well, you could try to drive through an atomic blast, and you know how dangerous that would be. Or you could try to attach a turbine to Niagara Falls and drive off of that. Or you could drive around at 80 miles per hour and hope you get struck by lightning. Wait, what did you say?
I would have liked that.
Yeah.
That would have been humorous.
It would have been funny.
Daddy-o. Actually, what's the thing about Niagara Falls?
Attach a turbine to the back of the DeLorean and try to drive it off Niagara Falls.
I mean, that would work. It's just you would probably die.
Yeah. I like how Doc just pulls it away as if, like, give me that. This probably isn't going to work, but and then suddenly his face goes like, you know, he like gets all this whole face like, oh.
Yeah, like I said, I love his faces. I think my favorite part is still, or my favorite face of his is when he accidentally lights the paper on fire, lights the garbage on fire, and then he just freaks out about it.
Yeah, I like his... Yeah, title drop right there. We're sending you back to the future, and points at the audience, you know?
Roll credits. No, yeah.
Enough college... No, not college humor jokes. CinemaSins jokes.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's kind of lampshaded in this movie, though, that they just title dropped. Because he points to the camera right then.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of bumped into your parents.
Bumped into your parents. Your mother is in love with you. That's a problem. And then this is when they figure out about what's actually going on with the picture. Which, can we talk about how the time change makes no sense?
What do you mean?
Like the fact that, like, the future can just change instantaneously according to Back to the Future Part 2. But according to everything else, it, like, doesn't change instantaneously.
I actually read like an article
too.
online, and of course this was a joke article, but they said, now, it's supposed to be stating that his brother is fading out of existence. But to me, it doesn't really indicate that at all. To me, it indicates that his brother was indeed born, just without a head.
Oh my goodness. That's so dumb.
That is probably what the implication would be in real life, though.
Yeah,
Maybe you were adopted.
And the time just keeps fading and changing.
Yeah.
Oh, and I like how Doc says to Marty, maybe you were adopted.
There's also a little thing that his parents' life was more or less the same, other than a few, like, minor changes, like they're richer and stuff.
Strickland still doesn't have hair, by the way.
Would it really have been that minor of changes to the timeline that when he fixes everything?
What'd you say?
Like the whole thing about there's only minor changes in the future when he arrives back. Would the changes have really been that minor with the impacts that he had on his parents' life?
Probably. I would consider they would be. I mean, I'd say they're actually pretty major changes. They're not minor.
Maybe.
They never felt like...
under the sea dance. And she doesn't even look at him.
She just keeps looking at Marty. And George has a crush on her, doesn't he?
Have you seen the deleted scene where she cheats on a test and Marty sees it through the window of the classroom?
No. Wait, what?
Where Lorraine is cheating on a test and Marty wouldn't expect that from her and stuff.
She does that?
Yeah. And then she walks out of the classroom, she says to her friend, I got an F anyway.
Oh my goodness.
There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull? What? The only way we're gonna get those... you know.
Yeah, uh-huh. Sort of social event. He already knows about the dance, though.
Right. What kind of date? The parents, you must know them. What are characteristics? What do they like to do together? Nothing.
It's so great.
Yeah. The rhythmic ceremonial ritual or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what Doc referred to too.
That's how he is. He's weird. But Doc is great. Christopher Lloyd, once again, best actor.
Yeah. Are we almost apart with make like a tree and get out of here?
See, that's a major change that Marty makes, where he says you have to let other people see your stories.
Yeah, and, remember in How Terminator Should End, where at the very end of the fake trailer, it shows the Terminator holding a gun toward the camera and saying, so why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That was so funny.
About Lorraine. This is where they make the plan. No, wait. They make the plan after because of the thing that happens at night with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think she'd rather go with somebody else, and it's Biff.
Of all people.
I know. Biff is such a jerk, and also, it's heavily implied that he's, like, you know.
It's not even implied, it's
directly stated, almost, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what he was gonna do to her, probably. Except it's a good thing that Marty came back here, because he made his dad not a coward. You know?
Mm-hmm. It wasn't his plan, but since you're new here, I'm gonna cut you a break today.
So why don't you
make like a tree and get out of here. He hasn't said that yet, but that's what he says.
I love when they, one sec.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
I'm gonna show the screen again in a second, because we haven't done that in, like, I don't know how long. There we go. So now you guys can see exactly where we are.
Why do you keep following me around?
Okay.
Oh, miss my favorite television program, Science Fiction Theater.
Oh my goodness. So then he has to pretend to be, like, he knows his dad is a sci-fi guy.
Yeah.
So he does the alien thing.
Of course, Darth Vader
Or
Star Wars
wasn't
around yet in 1955.
Curtis, neither you nor anybody else on this planet is going to make me change my mind.
You've seen the extended version of the Darth Vader scene, right?
Yeah, probably.
I think it would have been funny if they had the full scene. I actually made my own fan-made extended edition of this.
Cool.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Oh yeah, this.
I showed it to some people at college who had never seen the deleted scenes, and they were laughing and laughing at some of the deleted scenes, especially this one, because he actually knocks George out with chloroform after talking to him.
My name is Darth Vader.
And it actually was Michael J. Fox saying it, too.
Mm-hmm. That really wouldn't freak him out that much. I think this is just funny.
Is he talking through some kind of voice changer or something?
He's talking through a respirator of some sort.
Yeah.
I love the way he does that. Was Star Wars not out in 1955?
No, it came out in 1977.
George probably figured it out at that time, let's be honest.
People have speculated that George knew that Marty was a time traveler the whole time.
Oh no, that makes no sense.
Well, not the entire time, but by the time he grows up, he figures it out.
It would make sense. I love that. And Marty's the only one who believes
George
him.
McFly have created a rift in the space-time continuum. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Sorry doesn't cut it, George. The Supreme Klingon hereby commands you to bring the female unit known as Baines Lorraine to the place known as Hill Valley High School, exactly 4 Earth cycles from now. That's this Saturday night, George. Remember that in the deleted scene?
Yeah. That's so...
I'm writing this down. This is good stuff. And one of the scripts, I don't remember which one it is, but George is like, I don't have anything to write with. So Marty hands him a pen, and he's like, here's a pen, George. Oh, cool. What's this called? Bike? Fine Point? No, it's called Bic. What? It's a Bic pen. Oh, how do you fill it with ink? You don't fill it with ink. Oh, come on, George. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Give me a milk. Chocolate. That line.
Because back in 1955, you had to fill the pens with ink like a fountain pen, you know?
Mm-hmm. That line, by the way, still to get me a milk, chocolate.
Yeah.
And there's Lorraine. Does he have the courage to, you know...
My density has popped me to you.
Isn't
this the part that we quote a lot?
I'm George. George McFly. I'm your density.
I mean, your destiny.
Yeah. He's so great. They got so many good actors for this movie. You know?
Yeah.
Are there any actors that, like, stick out like a sore thumb or anything?
No, not really.
Like, just bad actors?
No, not really. They had a good cast all around.
Because I know a lot of movies have some really bad actors in them.
Yeah, Annie from 1982, Annie.
Oh my goodness. Ugh.
Terrible actress, terrible
Let's not even
singer.
get started on that. I love that.
Alright, punk. You know, you... Hey, Biff, what's that? Remember?
Yeah. That's so great. Biff looked up in time. He would have caught that, I feel. And doesn't that not work in the second movie? Like, doesn't he try the same thing in the second movie and it doesn't work?
Yeah. Only he tries it on Griff.
Oh, and then he steals the kid's,
Yeah, the homemade scooter. And he invents the skateboard.
Mm-hmm. Well, kind of.
See, there's no way his parents wouldn't have remembered the guy who invented all these things before they were invented.
Actually, I wonder when skateboards were invented.
One of the first results of Skateboard Back to the Future. Are you actually recording this?
I'm not recording my desktop right now. I'm just doing the search. Yeah. The skateboarding scene is pretty good. Actually, no. The first skateboards started with just wooden boxes, and they were from the 1940s to the 1960s.
The crate scooters, that's what the kids were using.
Is this the crate scooters? Well, okay, crate scooters preceded skateboards.
Oh, this is the part where he jumps over the car. Remember, he kicks the skateboard under the car, jumps over, and lands back on the skateboard.
Skateboarding as we know it, as it says on here, was born...
Here comes the part you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Oh.
They're just like, crap!
There we go, yeah.
Right, Christian.
That's a double meaning.
And the TV version, they just say, no!
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show my desktop now. What it says on here is that skateboarding, as we know, was probably born sometime in the late 1940s or early 1950s, so it would have been around before this, at least. Which means that this is slightly inaccurate.
Stinking punk.
If Wikipedia is correct, anyway.
I'm gonna get that stinking punk. That's what he says on some channels. Not on all the censored versions, but on some of the censored versions.
If Wikipedia is correct about that, then this movie is wrong about that.
You know. Oh no! They found me. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty! And he's just watching that clip over and over.
Yeah.
You can tell that Doc is curious, but he won't let Marty tell him what happened there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The video unit. There's something I need to tell you.
He just needs to let him tell him.
But then doesn't Doc get so curious that he tells himself through the note?
He reads the note anyway later.
Mm-hmm. He attaches it back together and reads it. Just to find out.
Please excuse the crudity of this model. I didn't have time to scale or to paint it. And it looks awesome, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Considering he built that in only a few hours.
It's a really good model. Oh, is this the part that I talked about earlier with the burning garbage?
Yes. This part's so funny. Even Dad thought this part was funny.
Yeah, our dad never laughs at anything, but he laughed at this part of the movie. He laughed at Doc's face in the scene. Which Doc's face is great, let's be honest. Again, Christopher Lloyd faces and acting in general, amazing.
Yeah. I can't imagine anybody as Doc other than Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because he says gigawatts, but then the captions, of course,
say gigawatts.
Which is actually how it's spelled, but I keep seeing gigawatts in the captions.
It's whatever. I mean, just ignore the captions. I like his glasses.
Yeah.
Wind, release. Does he say wind, or what does he say? Set, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Release.
I like this. And the car lights on fire.
Whee!
And the car goes right into the garbage.
Ooh! I just love that face.
His face.
Yeah.
His mouth just like drops open like that, and then he just gets the fire extinguisher.
You're instilling me with a lot of confidence, Doc.
He definitely did not ask her out, by the way, because Lorraine is now at Marty's house.
Yeah.
You know. I was going to say Marty's house, but...
Doc's house. Well, quick! Cover the time machine!
I followed you here.
Yeah.
Marty. Marty. Mom, Lorraine. And he calls her Mom first as well. That's actually great.
Yeah. Are you still recording the desktop?
No, I'm actually recording the movie audio commentary thing now.
Yeah. I have a copy of this movie at college that I actually found in the $5 bin, for those of you who are curious.
Yeah.
The $5 bin at Walmart.
Why was it in the $5 bin? I still don't understand that. I mean, it's such a good movie, and everyone or a lot of people like it.
I don't know.
Yeah, this scene is funny.
And this is how he has to put together this whole plan, which doesn't go exactly the way he had planned, but arguably it went better than he had planned.
Mm-hmm. It did go really well, actually. Come to think of it, it never actually went the way he planned, ever.
No, it didn't. But arguably it went better.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a deleted part of the scene where he's trying to get George to punch him. And George just punches him really lightly. He says, "There! That was good. She'll believe that. I'm done." And then Marty's like, "Tell you what, George." And then the scene ends.
Oh my goodness. That's great.
Daddy-o.
Let's be honest, his plan probably wouldn't have worked because his mom was too in love with him. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good thing that Biff stepped in.
I mean, she did get ew, it's like I'm kissing my brother. Oh, you mean you're gonna go touch her on her? And did you notice what he was holding?
Mm-hmm. Of course. Of course I did. George is kind of, Aren't all the characters kind of creeps?
Yeah, Marty's not really that much of a creep, but...
Marty's like the only one who doesn't stalk anyone.
There's a deleted scene where he's talking to Doc about how he doesn't know if he can go through with it or anything.
I mean, Lorraine was stalking Marty. George was stalking Lorraine.
You really think I ought to swear?
Biff is just a creep in general.
Yeah.
Let me think about this. By the way, the production value of this movie is actually pretty good. Like, I don't think there's any CG or anything, but...
CG wasn't a big thing back then. It was...
Production value is good. Music by Alan Silvestri, and Alan Silvestri is amazing, so...
If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Alright, George, give me a shot. Give me your best shot. No, I'm not gonna punch you. That's actually where that scene comes in, right after that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That deleted scene. But yeah, the scene where he's talking to... The deleted scene where he's talking to Doc, and he's like, I just don't know if I can go through with it. Hitting on my mom. Nobody said anything about hitting her. You're just gonna take a few liberties with her.
You know, you gotta wonder how Doc meeting Marty went in the future.
Why did they cut out that scene where he was talking to Doc?
I don't know.
It was pretty funny. Where they were making fun of archaic terms.
Mm-hmm.
This is the kind of thing that could screw me up permanently. What if I get Back to the Future and I end up being gay? Why shouldn't you be happy?
Mm-hmm. Did you hear what I said, though? I said, I gotta wonder how Doc and Marty meeting would go in this timeline.
Yeah.
Since Doc already knew Marty.
I think the first time we saw that deleted scene was on YouTube, and it said funniest deleted scene from Back to the Future, because we were looking up Back to the Future and it said funniest deleted scene from Back to the Future, and we clicked on it, and we genuinely couldn't stop laughing at the end of the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they have it changed to "You will be shot" in the censored version with
You weren't expecting the by terrorists, were you?
Well, sometimes when they show it on TV, they have the terrorist part, and sometimes they don't. Whenever it's "you will be shot," they have it digitally removed from the letter, so it just says "you will be shot," and then there's a big blank area there.
Gotta wonder whether this is actually his handwriting, like whether it's actually Michael J. Fox's handwriting.
Yeah. You don't actually see how he gets away with this with the cop in the actual movie, unless you watch the deleted scenes where he bribes the cop with a $50 bill.
Oh, really?
And the cop says, "You're not going to set anything on fire this time, are you, Doc?" And Doc says, "Nah." And I don't know why they couldn't have put that probably 20 seconds into the movie to show how Doc gets away with what he's doing.
Yeah, it's weird. Oh, Enchantment of the Sea Dance. Just like, I've kind of gotten bored of this movie, actually, surprisingly. It's a lot longer than I remember it being.
It gets better from here.
And the issue is, like, when you're... And I'll say this for you guys who are watching. When you're trying to do a commentary of a movie, it gets really hard to watch really fast just because you run out of things that you want to say about it.
If we don't mess up anything in this commentary, you could upload it tonight.
Eh. I cannot upload it tonight because our internet is garbage.
What about your phone internet? Okay.
No way I'm using my phone internet. It's called a mobile hotspot. Marty, it's not like I've never parked before.
She's creepy.
Yeah, I know. She really is.
Biff is worse, though.
Biff is...
Because he tries
awful.
to rape her.
Yeah. I think the thing with, Lorraine and George being together, that changes in the future is, like, Lorraine did all these bad things, like drinking and stuff, and George was just never confident enough to tell her to not do it.
Yeah.
So when Marty is with her, he's able to keep the confidence and not have her drink and smoke and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's part of what causes her to stop.
Yeah.
And also that's probably part of what makes her more open-minded as well, as A, the fact that she's not drinking and smoking, and B, the fact that somebody gave her that kind of confidence and everything,
Mm-hmm.
And then the same deal happens with George. It's like George is super unconfident about everything, so being with someone like Marty helps him be more confident.
Yeah.
And also being able to beat up Biff.
Now, there's a deleted scene, and this actually isn't included in the deleted scenes on the DVD, but in the script, it's actually revealed that Biff and his gang actually put liquor into the punch bowl. And so when George drank the punch, he actually got intoxicated.
Which would make sense why he suddenly got the courage to beat up Biff. But see, that wouldn't make sense for the future, though. Because if you're able to do something that courageous while you're drunk, that doesn't mean you'll be able to do something
well,
that
was he drunk, or did
sober.
he just get a little bit of, like, strength from the alcohol or something?
Still, it would still affect it. Like,
It probably filled him with more confidence, though, to have beat Biff for once.
Well, still, being drunk like that changes things quite a bit.
It does make a lot more sense why he was able to beat Biff, though.
I love how she kisses him and he's just, like, flexing away from it.
And think about it, Biff didn't actually see him drink the punch, so for all Biff knows, George is suddenly able to kick his butt.
Yeah, but still. Not only does he have the confidence for that, he has confidence for other things like his sci-fi books and stuff.
They actually show in the second film, they actually show him spiking the punch.
Okay. It makes perfect sense.
So it gets reinstated again.
And then Biff. Finally. And then it's not.
You caused $300 damage to my car, you son of a butthead.
Oh
and I'm gonna take it out of your... That's what it goes on that TV, dog.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna take it out of your...
Well, looky what we have here. I don't like Biff.
Me neither. You son of a butthead. Remember when I showed you that one?
Yeah.
Because you hadn't heard that one before, had you?
And then doesn't Marvin get his hand cut or something? Or no. Who is it who gets his hand cut?
Marvin, I think.
Okay. And then Marty ends up playing,
Earth Angel.
Yeah.
And Johnny Be Good.
Johnny Be Good is what I was looking for. So that Marvin Berry can call his cousin and send him the song. I love that. Reefer addicts. Is that racist?
No, it's weed.
Okay.
Which is another reason this movie would be PG-13 today.
Yeah. Drug references. Yeah.
Actually, on some channels, when this is shown on TV, it actually is rated TV-14.
Oh, really?
I
don't know why I do that, where I'm listening and then I'm like, oh, wait, what? You know? Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
He's such an awful guy, that Biff.
Yeah, I know. Biff is an awful guy. Biff is just not. I'm glad that George gets the courage to be her. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm glad George gets the courage to beat up Biff like that. Oops, I dropped my mouse.
You dropped your moose.
Hopefully I didn't accidentally click stop recording.
Is it actually recording our voice?
Yes, it's been recording our voice.
We're going to have to see later. It'd be funny if we recorded all this commentary and then it doesn't actually get our voice.
You'd be so mad. We'd be so mad.
Yeah.
You guys gotta play. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's just mean.
And that's part of what makes him courageous as well, is seeing her get thrown down like that. And seeing Biff look the other way like that.
Yeah.
And you can see,
Wasn't the spiked alcohol thing one of the things that you saw on a list of, like, top 10 deleted scenes that actually made the movie make way more sense than it did?
Yeah. I guess so.
Aw. And at first you think he's fixed it, and he holds up the picture and it hasn't faded back in yet.
Because they haven't kissed yet.
Well, also because it's unlikely that they're going to, because the song isn't going to be played.
But I feel like they would still be dating long enough to eventually kiss and then marry. So I feel like he would have already fixed it at this time.
But Lorraine said she knew she was going to spend the rest of her life with him once she got kissed. Oh, I'm used to there being commercials, because on TV, on most TV channels, right after Doc says, "The storm!" It fades to black and goes to the commercial.
Besides, logically, wouldn't time fix itself as soon as they were about to kiss? Because at that point, they're inevitably going to kiss no matter what.
It probably did start to fade in at that point, but we just didn't see it do that.
Unless you know somebody else that can play. And I love how it just jumps right to him. Actually, I don't love that. It's always seemed kind of weird to me that it just jumps right to it.
It's funny, though.
Not really. I feel like they should have let it linger right there for just, like a little bit more.
Unless you know somebody else that can play the guitar and then does, like, a zoom in on his face.
No, not a zoom in, but just, like, a little bit more linger. Because, it's like, unless you know it's almost like the guitar interrupts him saying guitar. Which bothers me. I don't think you should interrupt dialogue like that.
Okay.
In a movie.
That's the first time I've heard that opinion.
Well, you see what I'm saying, right? Like, it's almost like it's interrupting the scene. It feels like a bad cut to me.
You can almost see, like, ha, 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 as he's fading out. Which I think is actually one of the bullies, like that bully right there laughing.
Yeah, it is.
But it almost sounds even creepier as he's fading out when you hear the ha, ha, ha.
Now, why does everyone else fade out, like, bit by bit, but he fades out entirely?
I don't know.
It makes no sense. It's weird. But then they fix it. See, it should be fading back in right now.
It might have started to, but...
No, because Marty doesn't feel better until the moment they do kiss. You'll see it, because he jumps up like that. See?
They probably wanted to build up to it.
I know, it's movie tension, but it still doesn't work technically.
See, why are they wearing the same clothes in the picture if they're richer in the new future?
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
At least it's not, One More Day from Spider-Man. You know, One More Day.
What do you mean? Oh, wait, yeah, the time travel comic.
Ugh, that still infuriates me.
Yeah.
It infuriated pretty much everybody.
Let's do something that really cooks.
He's like thinking to himself, I really shouldn't be doing this, but what the heck?
Doesn't he say in B and then play it in B flat?
Yeah.
By the way, guys, I have perfect pitch,
you
so
can tell
of course I tell.
you can tell he was thinking, like, I really shouldn't be doing this, but what the heck, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's an oldie where I come from.
That's definitely in
When
B
they
flat.
showed this movie on AMC, they actually had part of this sped up and then suddenly slowed down again.
Mm-hmm.
Which ruined it. Because they were speeding up various parts of the movie when they showed it on AMC.
They ruined it so much.
Yeah.
I hate listening to that as well. I hate listening to that kind of stuff. Which, if you guys don't know, I'm a music critic, I'm a music education major, and I have perfect pitch, so I notice all of this kind of music stuff. That's how I noticed that. He says that he's going to play it in B, but then he plays it in B flat.
They have karaoke in the leisure room at my college every Wednesday. And last Wednesday, somebody actually sang Johnny Be Good at karaoke. And during the instrumental part of the song, where there isn't any singing, one of the people sitting watching karaoke said, Chuck! This is your cousin Marvin!
Really?
Marvin Berry!
Are you serious?
What a new sound you're looking for?
That's such a great...
And the guy who was doing Johnny Be Good was pretending to be Marty McFly and overdoing it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end he said, I guess you guys weren't ready for that yet, but your kids are gonna love it.
Everyone laughed, I assume.
Yeah.
Or I assume everybody who got the joke.
Sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
Would he really be accurate through the phone like that?
He's overdoing it already. I was showing this movie to some kids at college, and they were actually laughing and laughing.
And everyone's
and
like weirded out by it.
Yeah.
Also, I love his face. I've never really noticed his facial expressions during the scene
Like,
before, but it's
the
great.
song works. Like, everybody's enjoying the song, but they're kind of, like, weirded out by what he's doing on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he meant by, like, you weren't ready for that yet.
Mm-hmm. Not necessarily not ready for the song, but just not ready for the, thing. Right.
Yeah. And the fanfic I read where they updated it to 2015 and 1985 and stuff like that, he played Living on a Prayer at the dance. And then instead of overdoing it, he started randomly freestyle rapping near the end, and everybody was like, wait, what are you doing?
So was it Marvin Jovi then? Or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess you guys weren't ready for that yet. Everyone's faces have just, like, confused.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Did you see the principal? Strickland was covering his ears.
Yeah. Did he knock down the amplifier on purpose?
Mm-hmm. I like how he said your kids are gonna love it.
Does the sound come out of both headphones or your computer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Of course it does. When he says your kids are gonna love it, that's a double meaning, because their kids do love it.
Yeah.
Because he is their kids.
I saw a video on, I think it was College Humor, where they had it updated to the 80s instead of the 50s and stuff like that, and he played a Skrillex song at the dance, and then he said, I guess you guys weren't ready for that yet, but your kids will hate it too. Their kids will probably love it. Isn't that funny?
Oh my goodness.
Of course it was College Humor, so it wasn't meant to be taken seriously.
I've never really listened to Skrillex, so I don't know what Skrillex is.
It's dubstep.
Oh yeah, I don't care for dubstep. You know.
Yeah.
Dubstep is... Go easy on him.
Do you think that actually worked? Or maybe he didn't set fire to the living room rug in the future? Did Johnny Be Good even get written in the new future?
Well, according to the theory, if his dad had figured out that Marty was the one who time traveled back, then, you know.
Did the Johnny Be Good song even get written in the altered future? For all we know, maybe it didn't get written in the altered future.
Who knows?
Because they were afraid of plagiarism.
Who knows?
Isn't this the part where Mom said, this part has a lot of swearing? And then he swore over and over. I'm like, all I hear is the D word. And she's like, yeah, I wanted you to know that he said the D word over and over.
He only says it 4 times.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. I mean, you probably should go back in that zoot suit, you know.
Yeah. He's like, everything seems to be okay, so never mind. Right?
Yeah. It's just interesting. Well, maybe the picture is still fading to the new clothes. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know. They kind of threw a lot of logic out the window. Like, why is Marty still named Marty in the new future? Logically, wouldn't they have named their first son Marty since they liked the name Marty?
Mm-hmm. They shouldn't have put that part in.
Oh,
Oops,
there we
I
go.
switched
We
the
told
wrong
you that was
caption.
going to happen, or did we tell them that in the alternate take?
I think we told them that in the first take, that I might accidentally switch to that capture instead. Sorry about that, guys. That's my speedrun capture. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna miss you, Doc.
He doesn't know if he's ever going to see Doc again.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he knows he'll see Doc again. Because...
He doesn't know if Doc's actually going to read the letter.
Oh, yeah.
I love the music, too.
It's mainly just repeating the same theme, but it's really good. The way they vary
It's
the
just
theme.
an epic climax, and they tried to kind of do an epic climax again with the third film,
But, nah.
and it didn't work as well.
The third one was the one that really didn't receive as much critical acclaim, you know?
It's the second one has kind of gotten quite a cult following because of the whole future thing with hoverboards and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from
The second
that,
one probably has the weakest plot.
yeah.
The second one is the weakest of the trilogy, and the first one is the strongest, and the third one is just meh.
The third one is the one that is still better than the second one, but the sad thing is most people kind of don't talk about that one as much because it doesn't have hoverboards or anything like that.
Right, right. Well, the third one, like I said, was just meh.
The strongest part of the second movie is probably the part where he's trying to avoid himself from this same time period and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like the last third of the film.
Yeah. And there's the lightning. I'm pretty sure Doc believes him now. Because Doc said, are you sure there's going to be a thunderstorm?
Yeah.
How do I not remember this shot?
I don't know.
From inside the clock tower with the gears. How do I not remember that? I mean, granted, I haven't seen this movie in a few years, but...
Yeah.
You know.
There's the rope.
And here we go. Off we go, sound.
He tore up the letter, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. And Marty doesn't have time to tell him.
I have to tell you about the future.
Yeah.
Doc would not be able to hear it from up here, which is why he says what.
Yeah. Yeah. You know how much that would hurt his ears?
Yes. I'm well aware of how much it
The
would hurt
bell
his ears.
tower.
Mm-hmm. Doc, just attach the thing.
Yeah. Oh.
They don't have time, do they? I love how in this scene, and in general in these movies, everything that can possibly go wrong goes wrong.
Yeah.
And yet it somehow still works out in the end. That's always how it works out. Yeah. I love the way, like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. We've just gotten to that point where we don't have much else to say that we can think of, so...
It is an epic climax, so we're trying to pay more attention to what's going on in it.
Well, yeah. Bluebird Motel.
A lot of 80s films and stuff, 70s films even some 90s films don't work as well on DVD or Blu-ray because the higher quality actually exposes more of the like cheap special effects and stuff, which of course are of the time period.
Mm-hmm.
So in a lot of 80s movies and stuff, the VHS version works better because of the lower quality and stuff, which actually makes it look more like you're looking at a real thing.
Right. I was going to mention the quality of this. I can tell that it was recorded on... What?
But with Back to the
Future,
the better quality on the DVD and Blu-ray actually doesn't... The special effects hold up really well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, how much special effects is there really in these movies? Or in this movie, at least. There's not that much.
Somebody had Willy Wonka on Blu-ray at college, and I was watching it with them, and during the part where Mike TV's on the TV, the platform he's standing on is super obvious. It's not even hidden or anything.
Well, okay. You know what effects in Willy Wonka really don't hold up? Or effects?
Chocolate Room.
Just the entire chocolate room. Ugh. And the new one, it actually looks like a chocolate room, and the old one, okay, discussion for another time.
I've heard people complain, there was too much CGI in the newer one. And I'm like, well, would you rather have seen the... But we're not talking about Willy Wonka right now.
Yeah, like I said, discussion for another time.
But yeah, the special effects in this hold up very well.
How is Doc even close to being still alive?
Like, even the sky, you can tell that the sky is probably, like, computer-generated and stuff. But it still doesn't look all that unconvincing, you know?
Yeah. Doc is definitely dead at this point, by the way, hanging from that thing the way he is.
Yeah.
It's like he's 100% dead.
Now, did the clock actually stop in the altered timeline, or did it remain working?
Who knows?
Because Doc does wrap the wire around the hands in order to keep it from unplugging again when he slides down it. So did the lightning actually damage the clock again?
Who knows? I imagine it did.
Or did the clock never get struck by lightning in the altered timeline?
And then doesn't it come undone at the bottom as well? Because he pulls it too hard.
Yeah, I think so. Because it's stuck on the tree branch. He forgot to take the tree branch off of it before he tried this. I like his face here, like, ah!
Yeah.
And on one channel, like, not on every channel, but on one channel, it actually cuts the commercial right after Doc went, ah! Isn't that funny?
Oh, no, you don't cut in the middle of this scene. I mean, I imagine they probably cut like half a minute later as well.
It is a funny part to go to the commercial on, though. I think it was when they showed this on Spike that they had it cut to the commercial when he goes, ah!
Come to think of it, it makes no sense for him to slide down the chain the way he does. And would you like to know why? Because if his weight is enough to pull it apart with just his hands, then his full body weight is definitely enough to pull it apart.
He wrapped it around the clock hands to keep it from doing that.
Still, it would have come apart still. They would have come apart like that.
It's a good thing he let go just in time to prevent himself being zapped. You know?
Mm-hmm.
When this happens in a second here.
Mm-hmm.
But it still made his hair all go like, you know?
Yeah. He probably would have died. Well, was that the electricity that did that, or was it the wind?
The thing was, most of it was channeled to the wire, so most of it wouldn't have gone to him anyway.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the first moment where he really believes it just because the car is completely gone.
He believed it, he just was kind of unsure. Like, he didn't even know if the storm was really going to happen because the weatherman said there wasn't going to be any storm.
Mm-hmm.
But then you remember when he sees the storm clouds approaching, he's like, the storm.
So I'm wondering now,
I just love you, so he's like, yeah!
So I'm wondering now, because the clock tower is not run by electricity, it's run by, like, gears and stuff. So how would a bolt of lightning stop it from working?
Maybe the lightning melted some things together.
Who knows, maybe. So I was going to say, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Is the clock stuck at the right time?
I'm not
Or
sure.
stuck at the wrong time, I should say. And there's Mayor Red Thomas.
Yeah.
The bum on the streets. Oops. Assembly of Christ.
Crazy drunk driver.
Oh,
see, it
and
is
the car
all
is
frozen and
frozen.
everything.
Yeah. Was it frozen when he traveled back to the past?
It's possible that he was unconscious for a few minutes when he traveled back to the past.
I guess that's possible.
Because they had to take the time to go out to the barn and everything.
Mm-hmm. But then the car is out of gas.
Yep.
Here, unfortunately.
And here comes the Libyans, or the criminals. The Libyans. It's so sad to see Doc die again the first time you see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, after all that, and he didn't manage to save him, and then you figure out that...
Doc did it. Read the letter anyway.
Yeah.
Should I...
Yeah, go ahead.
do just, like, 2 more, I think.
Yeah. See Lone Pine Mall now.
Yeah, Lone Pine Mall. And there's Doc getting shot. I didn't mean to actually show that, but now we
it's not
it.
that graphic, but...
Still. But Marty just saw himself.
I don't know if the rule is if you see yourself, you faint, or if you're shocked at seeing yourself, you faint.
Something like that.
I mean, Biff sees himself. And knows that it's himself. Or at least
That's
old
fair.
Biff knows that it's himself.
Old Biff knows that it's young Biff. Or, old Biff knows that it's him seeing himself. Young Biff does not know.
Yeah. Now, in this altered timeline, Marty has a truck, so why didn't this Marty, like, drive his truck to Doc?
Who knows?
Now, one thing that wasn't in the script that the dude added to the novelization was that Doc goes, all right, yeah, I'm tricking ya. And I'm like, seriously? You know?
Wait, what?
And this one, Doc just appears to have been shocked, and that's why he was on the ground like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But in the novelization, he was tricking Marty. And Marty's like, no, Doc, you can't be dead. He's like, you're right, I'm not. And I'm like, seriously? You know?
I like this with the bulletproof suit.
Yeah. He actually did read the letter.
And let's be honest, part of the reason might have been because he needed to fake death to make it so the Libyans thought he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Screwing up.
But it seems he genuinely was shocked, and that's why he was on the ground still for a few seconds, you know?
And also the force of the bullets as well.
Mm-hmm. You notice... And this time around, like, instead of getting, like, thrown back by the bullets, he just waves his arms a few times and then drops, you know?
So why did Doc not come, like, straight back to this exact time? Why did he decide to go back to the next
I kind of
morning?
wish we had, like, a combination between Back to the Future's 2015 and our own 2015. Like, I like flat-screen TVs and everything. But I'd also like to see hoverboards and flying cars and everything. Self-lacing shoes.
To. Well, Back to the Future's 2015 is, like, such an outdated and yet not outdated 2015. Like, it's so futuristic.
They still have
and
crap
not futuristic.
TVs and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have crap TVs that can watch a million channels at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So
instead of HD.
Mm-hmm. Which is weird.
Now most of us don't even use square screen TVs anymore. Which is the only reason full screen versions of movies exist, because most TVs back then were square screen. You know?
You know, it's so convenient that all of this stuff happens to happen on the same exact day, you know?
Actually, in case you guys want to know, we're actually watching on a square screen right now, but it's the widescreen version of the movie, as it should be. Do you agree with me?
Yeah. This will be the last clip I show, I believe.
Yeah. Widescreen is the way the movie's intended to be seen.
Yeah, something like that. There are bars on it and everything.
Yeah.
I always wear a suit to the office, he says.
This is so funny. Marty, I always wear a suit to the office. Yeah, this is funny.
Mm.
His parents are healthier.
I love how Marty basically just passes out.
Yeah.
He's probably still freaked out by the fact that his mom just flirted with him for the last few days.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean. Would he really be planning the same date with the same girl?
Why does he even have the same girlfriend?
I don't know. Maybe they only just got this car. Because that would explain it, kind of.
The truck that Marty has?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What a character.
Notice his dad doesn't wear glasses in the altered future either.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how that makes any sense, but...
Who knows? Maybe glasses were like a nerdy thing and he's not as much of a nerd anymore.
You know, that's what he based the book off of. Like, wouldn't he have been suspicious when a movie came out with a character called Darth Vader in it?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the theory adds up that he knew that he figured out that Marty was a time traveler.
And the original script, like the very first script, he actually did know. Like, they reveal that he knows and he just isn't telling Marty.
Well, you know what? Biff did just give Marty the keys. Meaning that the night before, Marty did not have the keys, so he wouldn't have been able to take the truck.
Biff
so that
had to
explains
wax
it
it
no matter what. The truck? Well, still, Biff had the keys, so Marty wouldn't have been able to take the truck.
Maybe it is a brand new truck.
Either way, Biff had the keys because he just gave them to Marty.
Yeah.
Which means Marty didn't have the keys, so that's why he did not take the truck to see Doc.
True. So which Jennifer do you like? Which Jennifer do you prefer? Could you never tell the difference between the two Jennifers?
I still can't tell the difference between the two Jennifers.
What about when you watch the two versions side by side?
It doesn't matter.
Because obviously they already filmed the scene for the opening of the second one.
It doesn't matter. I don't care enough to...
I think the version of the scene from this movie where is actually better acted than
I need fuel.
than the version from the second one.
I love how he says bring Jennifer too. He was probably joking, but then Marty actually brings Jennifer. You know?
Yeah. Drops beer in there. Yeah. They ended this movie in the most cliche way possible because they wanted it to be funny. It's rule of funny. It wasn't intended to lead into a sequel. It's just to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Do we become like jerks or something?
They probably just should have left it the way it was. They probably just shouldn't have made a sequel.
I like to imagine some alternate universe where there were no sequels and this was just the only movie. But at the same time, the sequels aren't bad.
Yeah, the sequels aren't awful.
They just don't hold up as well as this one does.
Well, does this hold up? Yes.
Yes. It's a classic.
And there's the credits.
Have you noticed there actually isn't a to be continued? I think some VHS releases added a to be continued screen, but the DVD versions use the theatrical version again.
Yeah.
I like this song, too.
So they couldn't get the same actress back for Jennifer?
No.
Why not?
Her mother had cancer, and she wanted to,
That's sad.
Yeah.
Alright, well guys, thanks for watching our new movie audio commentary. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
And someday we'll do the other movies.
Someday.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll see you guys. This is
I'm Curt.
And I'm Chrix. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.